my parents decided there was something to be made. Pittsburgh, Rangoon, and the dance they shared in this American city.
My mama is so gangsta. She hustled the ocean, slayed sea monsters, wrestled with pirates, and lived still to talk about it all.
And my mother, locked in limbo, so lonely in a land that she hates, wistfully remembers but tries to forget the words of a self-inflicted bachelor, "I'm going to marry you."
And the more I turn into my father, the less I'm convinced that we dictate our own outcomes. Reflections never break through the glass, and they only turn away when you do.
My eyes carry the vision of before and after, always learning the shared song.
To the rumble of mridangam, bells around our ankles leave a trail of where we've been. We have carried culture across continents.
I'm from a long division of Japanese traits. My parents carried over my face and bones, but my favorite air is in North Carolina, and my lungs know exactly when I'm home.
Now I watch the yellow girls, their calligraphy brows, their hair of unbreakable silk. I want to bang on the two-way mirror. I want to be Asian, like you. Sister, what is it to know secrets in your mother's tongue, knowing you'll teach them to your yet-born children someday through spoonfuls of coconut curry, spirit myths, tales of mischievous gods perched on housetops? In my dreams, a flock of aunties come to fuss over me, clicking their tongues and shaking their heads, offering unwed sons mismatched socks for my bare feet. And in the streets of Rangoon, people nod back. And no one reminds me to remove my shoes inside or tells me how to shred ginger. And then I show them. I show them how I make rice using one erect finger. The lines on my brown hands, like the lines of a measuring cup. Just enough water.
Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise! When I say poetry, you say rocks. Poetry. 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 If you're Asian, make some noise. If you love Asians, make some noise. Well, you will leave Asian after this, because this is the first ever Lap Festival. We have some of the finest poets, performers from all over this country right here on the stage. And this beautiful poet to my left is Simone Jacobson.
And this beautiful poet to my right is Reggie Kabiko.
I am single and available, so see me after this festival. So you're going to see fabulous performers. Some of the poets that we have in this set is from Washington, D.C. We have Gary K tonight performing. We also have from Philadelphia, represent Michelle Myers is in the house. From Durham, North Carolina, and now in Washington, D.C., G. Yamazawa is in the house. And?
Is the South in the house? Do we got some South in the house, Reggie?
Some South, yes, we do. We've got also Saravang Nguyen is in the house.
From chilly Boston and equally chilly New York City.
Yes, absolutely. So,
and we're going to keep the rest a secret for now.
Yes. So without any further ado, I said, are you ready for your first performer? Here is the lovely host and poetess from DC's own Bloom Bars, a DC fabulous poet. I want to marry her, and if we did, it would be our big, fat Filipino Sri Lankan wedding banquet. Let's give it up for Gary K.
I have a minor addiction to English language haiku, 3-line poems, 5 syllables, 7 syllables, 5 syllables. And I like to write about topics that aren't too controversial, like race, religion, politics. So a short selection of some of my haiku. I found what I was looking for. Brown faces. My niece, flipping channels. Heard of casual racism? Me too. But I call it racism. If you've never been the minority in a room, try it out once. I seethe a little when spell check corrects my name. I'm right, dude. You're wrong. Politically correct is code for respect and compassion, right? And I also like to write haiku about poetry and about haiku. So a few of those. Poems can be like bright stars in a very dark sky. Reason to look up. Deja haiku, the feeling you've written the same haiku once before. Deja haiku, the feeling you have heard the same haiku once before. And finally, words inspire thought and catalyze action. What does your pen want to say? This last poem I'll be sharing is one I wrote while reflecting on the one-year anniversary of the murders at the Sikh Temple of Wisconsin in Oak Creek, which happened in early August of last year. And this poem is dedicated to all the communities who have suffered hate crimes and xenophobia at the hands of our fellow Americans. America, the beautiful. When my parents moved to this country, they knew the warmth of melting pot, but not the burn of go home, spray painted across first bought house they thought was theirs now. As a child, I stood beside my mother, holding up grocery store checkout line because the cashier didn't want to understand her foreign-tongued English. Just as she didn't want to understand when I shamefully descended kindergarten bus asking, "Why do they call me the color of ketchup? After all, I was born speaking American." Just like I didn't want to understand when my grandmother said to me, "Be careful in the city, there are black people," demanding my mother explain how prejudice could exist between brown people, being told she only knows anyone besides our people through the TV, and you see how racist the news can be. Just like I didn't want to understand when I stood behind my father in a crowd of strangers in Sri Lanka, beaming at his ease, conversing in Sinhala after decades away, before realizing memory can function as survival skill. Just like my parents didn't want to understand when my brother and I flew home in the year after 9/11 and told them about the airport security agent conducting random checks, who looked at the two of us and said, "Well, I have to pull one of you out of line for questioning, but you can decide which one." Just like my 3-year-old niece didn't understand when I explained, "Your mom is Indian and your dad is Sri Lankan, so you're both," replying, "But I was born in Minneapolis." I'm from This Is America, from This Is Our Home, from we have been here for decades, from we can't go back now. I'm from politics being something to discuss at dinner parties, but keep behind learned vocabularies of American assimilation in public. I'm from still feeling like a foreigner in certain places in this country where I would blame myself for being there if something were to happen to me. 50 years ago, 4 black children in Alabama were murdered at their church because they were proof of what America could be. 1 year ago, 6 Sikh adults in Wisconsin were murdered at their gurdwara because they were proof of what America still is. A country whose fingerprints are caked with the blood of those it calls other, as it claims to crown thy good with brotherhood. Hoodie, white hood, yarmulke, cowboy hat, do-rag, baseball cap, turban, habit, headdress, hijab. None of these things is more American than the others.
My mama is so gangsta. She dropped out of school at 14. Left her water hut home, is staying and living on the streets. Some gangsters dodge stray bullets. My mom, she danced the duck and cover to dodge the blaring of sky-high sirens. She rearranged the target of American bombs. My mama is so gangster. She said, F this war, and carried nothing but everything she believed in her heart onto a wooden asylum to ride the tide of changing times and bear the thrashing of turmoil against thin plank walls, deeper than gangster whips and lowriders. My mom cruises below sea level until light welcomes her back into the world. My mama is so gangster. She hustled the ocean, slayed sea monsters, wrestled with pirates, and lived still to talk about it all. Except she doesn't talk about it at all. Because unlike most gangsters, my mom doesn't need to brag about how many times she almost died to know she's a survivor. Forget street cred. My mom has the whole Pacific Ocean under her belt. My mama is so gangster. She said, I'ma play this system. Rob the establishment of millions of dollars to rebuild a family overseas. Bring in new relatives through immigration loopholes. Plead the fifth, play innocent, and blast her fresh off the boat attitude to the exponential degree. My mama is so gangster. She keeps her personal savings account tucked away in a secret place at home where the bank can't touch her money. My mama is so gangster. She sleeps with the surveillance lights on. My mama is so gangster. She walks with elbows high and hips that jerk from side to side. My mama is so gangster. She wears gloves during the day. My mama is so gangster. She will murder you with her eyes. My mama is so gangster. She lived 1,000 lives in one. And my mama is so gangster. She doesn't need to brag about how many times she almost died because my mama is ready to die. Because my mama is so gangster. My mom loves her family to death. There has never been a better time to assume the end is near. Blasting cities and civilians to pieces as a means of conflict resolution. Sending our children to prison is more profitable than education. We explore our natural resources for instant gratification. Are we still moving forward in time? There's never been a better time to pause and ask ourselves, why? In the news, I read another youth took her own life. Sex, money, and hoes is the motto. We fight terrorism with more terrorism. What is the cost of our freedom? There's never been a better time to feel so insecure. Paying bills become everything. Egos take the driver's seat. Student loan debt drowns out student dreams. Is this what growing up is meant to feel like? There has never been a better time to stop and feel. In a world of fallen systems, there is no better time to give yourself permission to fail. Every rise to new heights was born in a valley of doubt. There's no better time to stop punishing yourself. The world needs your energy elsewhere. There's no better time to say, F it. The only critic who matters is the mirror. There's no better time to evaluate happiness. The answer is not on Facebook. There's no better time to take a walk in the dark. We don't have to see the whole path to know where we are going. Because the truth is, there's no better time to be alive. Feeling worthless is poison. Let your fear be the catalyst. Time is an illusion. Happiness is not a competition. The pursuit has no expiration date. Forgive yourself for the times left unspent. The future is arriving now. There's no better time to begin.
Hey, y'all. When I say spoken, y'all say words. Spoken. Spoken. So in the last 4 years of my life, I've learned how to sweat when I pray and bleed when I write. Learned how to rip the seams off a mic and lose my voice trying to gain my freedom. Even learned how to sing, even though I can't sing. Even learned how to move my soul and do my dance. I grew my hair and learned how to go Super Saiyan. Learned that a man can still smile like a kid. Learned the only cage that I'm in is made of my ribs. Learned to appreciate them days back when I was troublesome. And I learned the difference between writing a poem and becoming one. Because see, I've grown from a poet into an artist, into an archer aiming arrows at my target. Grown my own food and been living off my harvest. But see, the seasons are changing, so my poems are too. But I'm liking the direction. I think I'm starting to rhyme more because I want my life to start connecting. Because see, I've learned how to learn, so now I'm learning how to teach. Because I done learned how to practice whatever I preach. I grew from a grain into a beach, and I knew for the game, I'm playing for keeps. So whatever I say what I mean. So whenever I speak, I'm able to reach a place that bleeds, and a place that burns, and a place that knows. I got a lot more to learn. DC, how are y'all feeling tonight? Do y'all feel good? Y'all still feel good? Word. Real quick, can we make some noise and give a round of applause for all the amazing artists and all the organizers who making the Lap Fest happen? Yeah. And also, real quick, anybody in here like basketball? Make some noise. Yeah. Anybody in here possibly know this guy named Jeremy Lin? I'm just kidding. I know all the Asian people know who Jeremy Lin is. So the first time I held a basketball, it felt like the world was in my palms. Left hand on Asia, right hand on America. My goal was to spin them together until it was worth something. My dad is the one who put a ball in my hands, and my mom is the one who let me play as long as my grades stayed above the rim. She made sure I knew she didn't immigrate to this country just so I could play their games. My parents named me Jeremy, and my ancestors named me Lin. The two names would rub together like American leather and Chinese silk trying to sandpaper each other away. Born and raised in California, I led my high school team to a state championship title, averaged 15 points, 7 assists, 6 rebounds, 5 steals, but when I didn't get a single scholarship, scouts tried to blame it on my height and weight, but I knew it was my eyes. They couldn't imagine a Chinaman shooting hoops. Never seen a Taiwanese product that was made in America. They thought I was weak and frail with a heart full of fear. They thought my bones would break like Yao Ming's career. But I just sneered, waited on my chance to reappear. So when I set Madison Square Garden on fire, don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years. I've been the baseline of their jokes. I've been sweating just like the workers who made the shoes that I play in. I've been here. What you ain't know? I'm Bruce Lee with a jump shot. I got a killer instinct. This court is my burial site, and I could break records and stereotypes. I'm a hammer in the hands of a Chinese railroad worker. I'm a kamikaze jet running suicides. I took over the NBA Gangnam style. I'm a bridge stretching across the Pacific, the Asian stigma on full court press. I'm a celebrity. The president, mayor, and governor knows. I'm like cocaine. This whole time I was right under your nose, and now you are witnessing the amazing Asian persuasion invasion. It's Lin's sanity. Let's investigate this Lin-spiring Linderella story, shall we? I've been on a Lin-credible Linning streak, because all I do is Lin, no matter what. I'm a super Nintendo, till infinity and beyond. It's Lindescribable. I've done the Lin possible. I'm one of the first Asian names that didn't have to kung fu its way into your mouth, and now I'm trying to prove my point while moving forward with my guard up in the center of attention. America, now you officially have a chink in your armor, and there's gonna be billions more just like me, as long as you're willing to give them a shot.
listen, stop trying to guess what I am. Stop trying to tell me what I'm not. I was born in Seoul, which makes me Korean. These slightly slanted eyes ain't just for seeing. B, I see right through you. You expert on me with your fake Asian tattoo. You expert on me with your Tai Bao and Kung Fu. So what? You tried dim sum and then some on the menu. So what? You a fan of Lucy Liu. So what? You read the Joy Luck Club too. That makes you an expert on how I should look? What the do you know about being Asian? I'm about to put you in your place, son. What do you know about napalm and Saigon? About Hiroshima and Nagasaki? About Gandhi? What do you know about demilitarized zones and no gunry? About My Lai and the military? What do you know about the killing fields and the signs that wield no Chinese or dogs allowed? What do you know about Kung Fu women and geisha girls? About colonization all over the Asian world? What do you know about the Great Wall? I can school you on each and all mother. I'm about to get raw. What do you know about revolution, about Ho Chi Minh and Mao Zedong? I know it was Gil Scott-Ron who said the revolution would not be televised, so my membership in the revolution will not be based on slanted on my eyes on the prize. Fight with all my might against ignorant people who think I'm a white girl. Watch my finger unfurl. You picked the wrong Asian woman to mess with because my tongue is split, it is forked and steel-tipped, and it will puncture and bleed you. And if you don't know, now you know, I don't even need to say it because you already know. Thank you, you say. When I tell you it's nothing, you say, it's not nothing. It means a lot. And I know I've said the wrong words. Even trying to correct myself, I don't get it right. It's my pleasure, I say. But it's not a pleasure either because this is all unspeakable, earth-shattering anguish. It's not a pleasure to a mother who's lost a son, to a sister who's lost a brother, and I'm just a poet trying to make the world a better place, armed with flimsy words that can't stop bullets, avenge murder, or save your son. And so I say what I am doing is nothing. If only I could do more, but all I can do is this. Stand on stage spitting impotent words and vehemence of injustice, entreating strangers to be aware, to donate money, to spread the word, trying to pound my own weak words into something like cold steel, to hold to the figurative throats of Jason Anderson and all those other racist pigs on the Minneapolis police force and on that jury and scream, die! Die, you murderers! Hateful, vengeful words that I am hesitant to even share with you in this poem because I'm afraid that you will think badly of me. This person who you thought was such a nice girl. But I sit at this table and I witness this wall of words erected before my very eyes and cemented by the silence in between talking as your tired face speaks Hmong to your daughter, who attempts to translate your words into a language beyond English, into a language the heart understands. And so that my heart will understand, you bring me Feng's picture printed on computer paper and say through Shua, I wanted you to have the original, but I couldn't find it. But it's okay because this speaks loudly enough. And so tonight, I testify to an audience at the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. on your behalf. But this is nothing. What I wish is that I could bring you back, your son and brother. I wish I could bring him back to you, that child, watching birds and chasing pigeons. I wish I could bring him back bulletproof and shielded by force fields so that he can walk as always through your front door to sit in family photos and play with nieces and nephews. I wish I could bring you peace so that you could sleep with a quiet mind and so that you're not fearful. Some cop is waiting around every corner for one of your other children to slip up. Just once. I wish I could help you to feel safe, to be happy, and to simply live again. I wish I could do more than cry on stage for you, fight for you, be angry for you with these never-lasting words. But this is the best that I can do, and this is nothing because it is what I must do to demand something more for you, for us, for Fong. Before I do the next poem, I just want to let you know that this poem is inspired by the South Philly High assaults. And so it is dedicated to the African American and Asian American communities in Philadelphia, but also across the country. And I do have to say the word bitch in this poem, so I just want to give you a warning. You dead, Chinese bitch. Homicidal words, words unleashed and too late to take back, and I wonder, is this the point where hatred begins? The lightning rod that drives people to patch together from inanimate letters, a living monster of hurtful utterances, vengeful and uncontrollable. Frankenstein words jolted to life with destructive fury that cannot be taken back. And I know why she thrust these burning words towards me, this young Asian American woman, after one of my poetry performances. She told me because she thinks that I am the angry one, ready to absorb flaming injustices into my heart and spitfire them into ignitable words, riot words, avenging words, maybe words that will find their way into another mad as all heck poem that would add another seething limb to the monstrosity that has evolved into what we know to be Asian-Black relations in Philly, in LA, in DC, and everywhere else in between what we call urban America. But I cannot speak to life-destructive words that I cannot take back, and that would rip chasms between communities of color, chasms which become open graves for words that fall like casualties of war at our feet. So I say instead, let's take it back. Let's take it back because we have a common struggle. We go back with it. Though blank spaces in white history books have buried along with the bodies that give evidence to it, right now, I'm going to start the process of digging them up and taking them back because we go back. We go back to aching bodies laboring under the weight of trains tracking both transcontinental and underground routes. Our dreams riding elusive promises of freedom. We go back to exhausted bodies bending over a stretch of earth on plantations in Hawaii, on the West Coast, and in the South. Our fingers caressing dormant seeds filled with hope. We go back to expendable bodies withering away in Japanese American internment camps and Tuskegee clinics, our spirits seeking threads of equality to grasp. We go back to raped bodies under grunting white slave owners and ravaging US soldiers, our hearts closing tightly to protect our love, so maybe, if we survive, we can find it again and pass it on to our children. Bodies, and here, more bodies, and see there even more bodies. There are so many more bodies to dig up. It's too much for one person to do alone. Do you get what I'm saying? Because it's time for us to reclaim our bodies and take ourselves back. It's time for us to realize that just because we don't know each other's struggles doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It's time for us to stop loading our words to win some sort of oppression Olympics, to insist that we are the most victimized, meanwhile filling the space between us with words that fall like dead bodies at our feet. I stand before you. I'm a witness, but I am also alone up here, feeling like no matter how much I try to unpack these hurtful words and refill them with blessed earth, hoping that somehow we will find a way to plant the seeds that would cultivate unity and community building, that what I say and what I do is not enough. And I am at a loss. I don't know how to find the words naked and vulnerable enough to make you see that my struggle is your struggle, is our struggle, that we are people, you are all my people. I can't find the words for that. So some of you are going to have to help me take us back because I can't love all my people enough through poems. The words do not have the fingers, the hands, the arms, the embrace to make you feel like everything is going to be okay, that this can be a time of healing. Some of you are going to have to help me take us back because I cannot make the words bleed enough, weep enough, hug enough, laugh enough, kiss enough. enough, hope enough, forgive enough. Help me take back the words, you dead Chinese bitch, and replace them with, can we be friends? Help me take us back by blowing word kisses, which glide like the wind from the backs of butterfly wings, fluttering with the urgency of prayer and breath through words that indeed have the power to take us back. Will you help me take us back? Will you help me take us back? No one's going to help me take us back? Will you help me take us back? Yes. Come back with me then through community, friendship, understanding, unity. Come back, my people. Let's take it back to one love and peace. Thank you. This is my last poem. I am lifetime's infinite billion strong. I learned this song from the ancestral throng who within me danced a double helix. Feel this, they whip genetic hurricanes in my veins, gain perpetuity like a pair of cranes. Korean symbol of longevity, their bodies and spirits don't weigh heavy on me. I am who I am because of men like Yun Chun-hee, grandfather, 1 in a billion ancestor, who lived to prepare my destiny or my harmony. Shin De Sun, I don't need a reason. It's always to celebrate your ancestor season. Season me Korean, nothing else I'd rather be in this lifetime. It's my time to shine and pave the way for generations next to join me in pride expressed for this mind, this body, this spirit fed X from blood to blood, a billion-gallon flow and fam to fam that span eternal through my Korean maternal line. I need to find my space, to find my face in this ancestral embrace that is skin tight, but my skin fits me just right. And like a person who's lost her sight, I search the contours of my face for a trace of this or that ancestor who's melded into my skin forever. They're all there, my ancestral throng, for I am, we are, lifetime's infinite, billion strong.
Michelle Myers, ladies and gentlemen. If you just joined us, this is Interrupt and Provoke. LapFest presents AAPI Poets and Writers. Are you all having a good time? Shout out to the other poets who performed earlier, G. Yamazawa, Sarah Vang Nguyen, and Gary K. If you are Filipino and grew up Catholic, make some noise. This is for you. We were the first Filipino family to move into Clinton, Maryland. It was so long ago, we came in on Carabao. I called our entrance the Little Nipa Hut on the Prairie. As soon as we moved into our new home, my mom, who is a nurse, a hypochondriac, and super Catholic, started making the sign of the cross with Lysol. I have 2 sisters named Faith and Charity. My name is Reggie. There is no hope in the family. While I was growing up, my mom would say, Reggie, psst, why do you want to sleep over the neighbor's house there? They will murder you. Psst, come, why don't you practice your piano lessons? My mom gave me piano lessons because for Filipinos, it was like old-fashioned karaoke. A big hit was Memory from Cats. Reggie, come on now, play the Cats. Your titos and titas are here to hear me sing the Cats. Psst, come on, psst. Okay, Mom. Do 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 do. Midnight, not as someone is crying. I am beautiful then. I too wanted to perform because I saw the movie Fame, and I could see myself breakdancing on top of lunch tables and taxi cabs. I was Irene Cara, Coco Hernandez, and I wanted to go to the Duke Ellington School of the Arts in Washington, D.C. Reggie, you cannot go to the Duke Ellington School of the Arts. You have to stay in the old-boy Catholic school. Psst. Otherwise, it will lead you to mortal sins. I went to confession every week. Father, forgive me for I have sinned. My last confession was yesterday. I know it's a sin to disobey your parents, but I scheduled an audition at the Duke Ellington School of the Arts. I already have a dance choreographed, and I need a 3-minute monologue. So I took Jennifer Beals' monologue for the movie Flashdance. She really doesn't have a monologue, but I strung all her lines together, and it just comes to under 3 minutes. Well, I never made it into the Duke Ellington School of the Arts. Instead, I went to Bishop McNamara High School, where for my junior year in the drama club, I got the title role in the play Dracula. But with all the white makeup on, I looked like Yoko Ono. But I knew that I could be more than Yoko Ono, so I auditioned for television parts. And in Washington, D.C., I got a call back for America's Most Wanted to be a Vietnamese killer. Well, I never killed anyone. I'm not Vietnamese, but I can get this. I know I can. I can be more than Yoko Ono. So I told my mom, and she said, Reggie, that is so good for you. I know that you could be the killer. And she told everyone at church. And they were praying that I would get the killer part. Let me be the killer, 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 let me be the killer. And I got the part, and everyone saw it, and they said, Mrs. Kubiko, your son was so great on America's Most Wanted. And she said, oh, well, yes, he was always very mean to me and his sisters. So I got my first part in theater in D.C., playing a servant with no lines. I'd be coming home late at night, and my mom would be pacing back and forth. Reggie, where were you? I thought you died in a car accident. Psst, come. My mom took me to the other side of the living room, where there was a lighted glass stand with all of my awards. It was like each trophy had its own light bulb. It was like a trophy Christmas tree. Mom, what's this? Reggie, this is your shrine. But I'm just a killer with no lines. What is this? Reggie, I know that you will be an actor, and if you're an actor, do not do these soap operas, because you will lead the people to sin. Reggie, you should be like Oprah. Reggie, you are my Oprah. But Mom, I'm not the patron saint to your immigrant dreams. I'm not your Oprah. Thank you very much. All right. We got two fabulous poets that are going to be performing. We have Bosia in the house from HBO, from Def Poetry Jam, icon of the slam, here on the stage. And before he performs, we have a fabulous poet performer from the Bay and now in Washington, D.C. Let's give a big warm round of applause for Adriel Lewis. Adriel!
We have got to understand them thoroughly. And I can testify that they are as different from ourselves as any people on this planet. The real difference is in their minds.
Your rustic mechanic can sync with my sensors. You shifted my space, baby, let me hit enter. Now log into me, you could download my upload. I'll go with your rhythm, I'll dig through your source code. You hacked in my system, now I'm off when I'm on. And my DC's my AC, I am CP3 crazy. You have opened my modem, you have reset my router. You've deprogrammed my programs and turned them to slow jams. Like ain't no reason to deny it. All you got to do is try it. I just click OK, I'll make you feel alright. I install, but I don't stall. Deactivate your firewall. AI, baby, I illustrate it raw. Designers in your Silicon Valley will lie in the wires. We could process the sky, watch the toasters fly by. Girl, don't shut down my program, don't flatten my layers. Forget Spotify, I'm a new kind of player. I'm just saying, it's real hard being software. I just want to reboot with you. DC, how you feeling? Lap Fest, how you feeling? Cool. I'm very excited to be on stage, sharing with these artists. I don't want to take up too much time because we have Bo Sia coming up, but I want to thank him for working with me on these pieces. I came in all ready to write, and he was like, you have to learn how to stand and walk as a human being. And I was like, great. So, yeah, this is Allure. The song is called Extraterritorial, Extraterrestrial. It's for the undocumented. Extraterritorial, extraterrestrial. Devil in a new dress, but oh so celestial. Sci-fi to Wi-Fi, how can I connect with you? You're bringing out the worst in me by giving me the best of you. Shiata. 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 This world. Shiata. 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 This world. They ask her where you come from, where you come from. She tell them, Oakland, Oakland. They like, nah, where you really from? Where you really from? You know, where your people from? Where your people from? Little green card to little green men. Treat her like an alien. She came when she was 10. Got into her orbit and she threw me for a loop. Houston got a problem. Shoop, it oop like. She's just an extraterritorial, extraterrestrial. Devil in a new dress, but also celestial. Sci-fi to Wi-Fi, how can I connect with you? You're bringing out the worst of me by giving me the best of you. Shiada. 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 This world. Shiada. 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 This world. This world. This.
Good evening. This first poem I would like to share is called Unload. As we live in a world of violence in which everyone loves to debate guns, I'd like to make an offering of my own desire to change the culture. Are you ready? Yeah. Yay. Bang is the sound of neglect matured into rage. Bang deafens the ears of those unwilling to listen. Bang begs to ring the alarm that can't be snoozed. Bang, it begins before the aftermath of smoke. Bang, a boy who's only seen touch but never felt it. Bang, the daughter who's been hugged too long by abuse. Bang, babies burning in silence until innocence drowns in the ash. Then bang, just like the movies, busy parents working too hard to explain special effects. Bang, you get it already? Because bang, there's been another shooting. And bang, the poet wants the metaphor. Bang, to get your attention, 'cause bang, there's no restart on this video game. The ones we call freaks ease our accountability. All media gets placed in a vacuum of blame. Our animal grows strong when fed on what distracts our humanity. Bang. This is not gun politics. War is a convenient way to ignore the work it takes a village to raise a monster. Bang! 1 billion uncharted moments before the darkness filled with stars. 1 billion unreported experiences before the child throws the fit that becomes the clip we stay fixed on like children, gazing at fireworks. Explosions made both message and meaning. Bang! Listen, for more than the loudest sound in the room. Bang! Weapons will evolve while we deny their origin. Weapons will melt once we've reverse engineered our hate. Weapons will become archaic with choices more fitting to our unique design. Bang! Make room for others' hurt before it turns poison. Bang! Remember the child within before you react from the child within. Bang! Let your pain be a guide and not a source. Bang! Teach your children how fruitless the zero-sum game. Bang! Teach your sons their want demands context. Bang! Teach your daughters their will is not a prison. Bang! compassion is greater than all that may destroy us. In every breath, an opportunity towards demise or thrive. It's not in the words. Oh my goodness, DC, it is so lovely to be here with you tonight. Why is this not an opera? Well, I will tell you why. Racism, duh. Can racism be a joke sometimes? Racism, duh. I think it should be because at some point we're going to say the word so much we're finally going to do something about it. Too soon, I know. Too soon. Too soon. I'll work on it, guys. I will work on my comedic timing till you think I am an amazing poet. This next poem, in the literary traditions of such greats as Allen Ginsberg and Dolomite, is called Boys Will Be Boys. Are you ready, my dear Grace? I'm ready. Oh, good. Because we are alive in this experience together, all. Gosh, I wish the beat would just drop right there and I could just, you know what I mean? Just for one time at the Kennedy Center, be just like this. But alas, alakalay, I am only known for my amazing ability with the English language. Everywhere I go, there are men still hung up on their ding-dongs, still driving like dominance is a cure-all, still working like proving you're better is the only way forward, still fighting like winning erases loss. What King Joffrey from long ago taught so many little lords that castles were for spoils? What ancient prince who knew women as only property led tribes into society? What civilization began the trend that the emperor's gender is the gender of all leaders? What early man, bursting with jewels, handed down the doctrine that hierarchy's peak is to rule over all? What history has been erased in order to preserve the history of bellies full on greed? In another age, saber-toothed tiger encounters were always lethal. Leading the hunt was a question of survival. The enemy killed, afraid of death returning in the night when darkness was full of dangerous mystery. There was a time when the spear was solution for what we'd yet learned to communicate. A gun was more useful before our words taught the higher value of a man alive. The fear which demands control carried more weight when dogs were more wolf, when scarcity wasn't man-made, when the sky was the realm of an angry God shaped like a man. So why are skyscrapers so defiant of science? Why is governance still rooted in territory and threat? Why do boys still call other boys gay until their eyes no longer reflect the moon? There's a security blanket no longer needed. Progress proving the poor choice of hoarding toys, of breaking toys as a way to get mommy to listen, of making that which breathes into toys for show and tell, of coveting toys only to lock them in chests, of using toys to tune out what the adults are fighting over. It's been millennia plus since a little boy was taught his equal. A little girl is more than a politician's humanizing story. Your little girl fights for her dream and the right to have it. The little girl only benefits the past if she stays that way. Deep down, little girls are just like little boys. Little boys were given thrones long after their expiration date. Little boys built the world in their image. Little boys too often learn a language that covers up the root of their role. Women give birth to them. Family is stronger in the feminine for the sake of all. Humans are symbolic. Relativity is calling us to put down our spears. A bowl longs to feed all from its giving shape, a nourishment that raises warriors who never fight to the death. Now is the time to change the operating system. It is within the feminine that you'll find the code. Oh my God, you guys are so lovely. I just want to milk and cookies, all of you. All of you. Okay. You make...
For Bosia!
Yes.
And let's bring in our own poets on stage. Oh my God, I got kicked in the hip by Bosia. I'm never gonna watch this hip. Let's give it up all the way, Simone Jacobson, Michelle Myers, Sarah Van Nguyen, AJ Lewis, G. Yamazawa, Gary Kay, Bosia. My name is Johnny Depp. No, I'm Reggie Cabico. Thank you all. This is not the end of the festival. Yes, Sam, yes. We love you all. This is not the end of the show. Tomorrow night is the last night at Atlas Performing Arts Center on 8th Street Northeast. At 7:30, doors open. 8 o'clock is a fabulous show of some fabulous poets who are going to be performing there. Check that out. Our website, lappfest.org. Check that out and hug a poet. Thank you very much. Thank you, Millennium Stage. Thank you, Kennedy Center.
Thank you, Reggie.